In a savage prehistoric wilderness, hunger drives early humans to steal enormous eggs from a giant python's nest. They think the beast is gone. It isn't. When the serpent returns, their desperate theft ignites a relentless, deadly hunt for survival. Before we dive in, don't forget to click the subscribe icon for more exclusive video and also share the video so others can equally enjoy the video with you. Let go. The land offered nothing freely. Stone plains stretched beneath a burning sky, cracked and lifeless. Thick jungles loomed at the edges of their world, alive with hidden movement and unseen eyes. Rivers ran deep and fast, swallowing the careless. Every sunrise was a question. Every sunset, a victory. The tribe moved slowly across the open ground, ribs faintly visible beneath dirt-streaked skin. Children clung to their mothers. The elders walked with hollow stares. Hunger had become a constant companion, sharper than the wind, heavier than fear. For days, they had found nothing. No small animals in their traps. No fallen fruit. No carcass abandoned by larger predators. Even the birds had grown scarce, as if the world itself were retreating. The leader walked ahead of them, scanning the horizon with restless eyes. He felt the weight of every empty stomach behind him. Survival was no longer about strength, it was about time. And time was running thin. A child stumbled. A mother's whisper carried quiet panic. If they did not find food soon, the weakest would fall first. The jungle ahead promised danger, but it also promised life. That was the cruel balance of their world. Risk was the only path to survival. The leader tightened his grip on his spear and turned toward the dense trees. The tribe followed without question. Hunger was no longer discomfort. It was a ticking shadow. And somewhere beyond the safety of open land, something waited, coiled, silent, and guarding what might be their only chance to live another day. The jungle swallowed them whole. Thick vines tangled around ancient trees, and the air hung heavy with damp heat. Every step forward felt like trespassing into something sacred, or forbidden. The tribe moved carefully now, eyes scanning shadows, ears tuned to the smallest rustle. Then they saw it. A clearing. At its center, pressed into flattened grass and broken branches, lay a nest unlike anything they had ever seen. The ground was carved into a wide, circular bed. And within it, enormous eggs, pale and speckled, each nearly the size of a child's torso. For a moment, no one breathed. Food. Not scraps. Not bones. Not a desperate chase through thorn and mud. Food enough to quiet the hunger twisting inside them. A woman stepped back, whispering that something this large could only belong to something worse. A young hunter shook his head, scanning the trees. There was no movement. No hiss. No shifting coils in the undergrowth. The leader crouched, pressing his hand lightly against one of the shells. Warm. Recently guarded. His eyes flicked toward the surrounding jungle. Still silence. Hunger spoke louder than caution. If they walked away now, they might not find another chance. If they hesitated too long, another predator might claim the prize. He rose slowly and gave a single nod. That was enough. Hands moved quickly. Spears were set aside. Two hunters lifted the first egg with strained breaths. Another followed. The tribe worked in tense silence, hearts pounding but hope swelling stronger than fear. They did not see the faint trail press through the grass beyond the clearing. They did not hear the distant, subtle drag of scales against bark. By the time the last egg was lifted from the nest, the jungle was no longer silent. The first warning was not a sound. It was the birds. They burst from the treetops in a violent wave, wings thrashing, cries sharp and frantic. The forest shifted. Leaves trembled though no wind blew. The ground itself seemed to pulse beneath their feet. The tribe froze. Then came the sound. A slow, deliberate drag through fallen leaves. Heavy. Controlled. Closing in. The leader's eyes widened. Move, he hissed, but it was already too late. From the shadows between the trees, it emerged. A body thicker than a tree trunk. Scales dark and slick, patterned like moving stone. Muscles rippled beneath its skin as it uncoiled into the clearing, head rising higher and higher until its cold, lidless eyes fixed on the empty nest. Then on them. The eggs slipped from trembling hands and cracked against the earth. The serpent did not roar. It did not need to. Its presence was enough. Panic shattered the tribe's discipline. Some grabbed spears. Others ran blindly toward the trees. A child screamed. The python struck with terrifying speed. One hunter was lifted from the ground before he could react, the serpent's body snapping around him in a crushing loop. Bones groaned under pressure. The air filled with desperate gasps. The leader lunged forward on instinct, driving his spear into the creature's scales. The tip glanced off, barely piercing. The serpent's tail lashed outward, slamming him into the dirt and knocking the weapon from his grip. Dust filled his mouth. The world spun. Through blurred vision, he saw the python tightening its hold, jaws opening slowly, deliberately. The jungle had warned them. But hunger had made them deaf. And now the price was being collected. The leader forced himself to his feet as the hunter's cries were cut short. "Run," he shouted, though terror had already scattered them. They crashed through the undergrowth, branches whipping against their skin, feet slipping in mud and roots. Behind them, the jungle split apart. The serpent did not rush. It followed. Patient. Relentless. Its massive body slid over earth and stone with terrifying ease. A young woman stumbled. The child she carried tumbled from her arms. The leader doubled back without thinking, hauling the child upright as the python's head surged forward, jaws snapping inches from where they had fallen. They ran harder. But the jungle belonged to the serpent. It moved through tight spaces they could barely squeeze through. It sensed their direction before they changed it. Each time they slowed, it closed the distance. Another hunter turned to fight, hurling his spear with a cry of defiance. The weapon struck and stuck shallowly between scales. The python barely reacted. Its tail whipped sideways, sending the man crashing into a tree. He did not rise. Fear became chaos. Chaos became exhaustion. The leader felt it then, the truth pressing heavier than hunger. They could not outrun this creature. Running scattered them. Running made them weak. Running turned them into prey. He skidded to a stop near a narrow cluster of boulders where the earth dipped into a rocky passage barely wide enough for two men. The tribe nearly collided with him. "Not open ground," he gasped. "Here." His eyes scanned the terrain, the tight stone walls, loose rocks above, fallen branches nearby. For the first time since the serpent appeared, he did not react. He thought. And as the massive shadow slid closer through the trees, something shifted in him. If the jungle belonged to the python,